name is Vivian and welcome. Today we are going to continue our How to Plot a Series. This is part 2. In part 2, we're going to talk about what is expected in the first 2 books in a series. These tips apply more to a serial than it does a series. I do explain the difference between the two in the first video. The standalone book and the story arc. Each standalone book in a serial will have a storyline that brings something new to light, like new information or a change of plans. Some sort of disruption will occur, which will cause more problems that launches you to write the next book. For example, in Lord of the Rings, the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring breaks up, one person dies, others are ambushed by the enemy, and Frodo realizes that he has to destroy the ring on his own. Those are the different disruptions that occur in the first book. It brings up the questions: how will Frodo get to Mordor? Will he be able to withstand the power of the ring? Would he get killed during his journey? When you're planning your serial, think of different disruptions that you can weave into your story so that you can be propelled to write the next story that will resolve those questions that occur after the disruption, and so on and so forth. The overall story arc for a serial or a trilogy is identifying the element that needs to appear in each of the books under the overall story arc, but not reach to fruition until the final book. All story arcs originate in the first book, which also means that starting with the story arc is the goal before starting your story. The first book in plotting a serial. In the book, The Beginner's Guide to Story Arcs for Trilogies and Series by Bette Daniels, Daniels breaks down what needs to be included in each book. She does go on to explain what needs to be included in your book after the 3rd book, if your series is longer than 3 books. When we're starting with the first book, what part do we start with first? Is it the overall story arc, or is it the standalone book that we're going to start writing? The real question is, which one comes first? These are some questions you should think about. Number 1, have the events that make up the story arc happen before the story starts? Number 2, or is the story arc something that is brewing and will grow as the story progresses within each standalone book? Number 3, or is the heart of the story arc based on an event that happened in the backstory? Backstory is everything that happens before your actual story starts. The second book in plotting a serial. In a trilogy, the second book needs to have the edge of your seat ending that will not only launch but blast you into the final book of the trilogy, where everything is wrapped up. With the second book, the story arc is dealing with events that are yet to come. A story arc usually reaches the 2/3 mark in the second book. This is where there are more obstacles and trials and tribulations that will be occurring in the second book. In a serial that is more than 3 books, you need to determine how many books is needed to complete the story arc. If you know your serial will have 10 books, each standalone title will need to have 1/10 of the story arc completed at the end of each book. You won't reach the halfway mark of your story until the end of book 5. 2/3 of the story will be book 6. In a trilogy, the 2/3 mark will be at the end of book 2. In a serial with 10 books, the 2/3 mark will either be the end of book 6 or the middle of book 7. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me about writing tips and books. Also, I do have free how to plot your novel worksheets below. The details will be in the description box. And go ahead and watch the next video here. I will talk to you next time. Bye!